Blackstone Publishing presents Pioneering the Vote, The Untold Story of Suffragists in Utah and the West by Neylan Mcbaine. This book is read by Kate Mulligan. For Elliot, who is dedicated to all of the thinking women in his life. The story of the struggle for women's suffrage in Utah is the story of all efforts for the advancement and betterment of humanity, and which has been told over and over since the advent of civilization. Dr. Martha Hughes Cannon, first female state senator in Utah and the United States. Most women's suffrage and feminist historians have almost entirely ignored the West. Sandra L. Myers, historian. Preface. On August 26, 2020, we celebrate the centennial of the 19th Amendment, the constitutional amendment that extended voting rights to American women. There are currently several museum exhibits in Washington, D.C., honoring the centennial of the 19th Amendment and the suffrage movement that led to its passage. There are newspaper editorials, important new books, documentaries, and celebratory events. But almost all of these fail to seriously consider the role of the Western states and territories in delivering suffrage triumphs up to 50 years before the amendment. And none honor the fact that this year, on February 14th, we also marked the 150th anniversary of the first female vote under an equal suffrage law, which happened in the unlikeliest of places, Utah. On February 14, 1870, Salt Lake City resident and 23-year-old schoolteacher Seraph Young was the first American woman to cast a ballot with suffrage rights equal to men's. 2 days earlier, the Utah Territorial Legislature had granted women the right to vote in all elections, and Utah women went to the polls to exercise their new right in a municipal election that very week. Wyoming, Colorado, and Idaho also were home to trailblazing men and women in the fight to recognize women's right to contribute politically. In fact, by the time the 19th Amendment extended women's voting rights across the nation, all of the states that had already granted full suffrage to their women were in the West. Glaringly, the first 30 states to join the Union were the last to grant full suffrage rights. There has been extremely little scholarship examining why such a radical movement as granting women political voices found.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?